Hey, this is James. Welcome to another episode of the DIY Music Management Podcast, where I share as much as I can about what I've learned over the last 20 years in order to help you avoid the stupid mistakes that I've made. So, I had a painful realization in recent days, maybe more of a revelation. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It hit me hard. Thinking about all the pain that I could have avoided over the last 20 years of my music career by living by this mantra. I think by the standard of most revelations, it's ironically simple, and the more digits you add to the equation, the further you get from the fundamental truth of it all. So in all its forehead smacking glory, here it is. In order to make it, I must only do what I do best. I must let go of expecting a final result, and I must enjoy the process. Woo! Yeah. It sounds so simple, but in applying it to the way that you run your music business, your project, it can be so powerful. And I just want to break down the three segments of the statement and just kind of give some examples about how it can affect your output. So the first part, I must only do what I do best. This hits me particularly hard. I am a person with many interests. I chase a lot of rabbits. I love graphic design. I love metal. I love folk. I love poetry. I love video editing. I love writing emails. I love hosting an email list. There are just so many things that I'm into, and I'm pretty good at a lot of stuff. But what I do best is songwriting. I realize that I use these distractions, I chase these other rabbits as a way to protect myself from failure if I were to wholeheartedly invest myself in doing what I do best and what I love most. Can you relate to that? Do you have other things that you're doing? Do you feel like you know what you're best at, but you are pursuing a side hustle in photography, or you are trying to build a music lessons business? And I'm not saying that working a job or having a side hustle is a bad thing, but you really have to look at the reason that you're doing some of these things. You have to analyze your behavior and be really honest with yourself. And for me, it's held me back. It's spread me so thin. I look at some of my friends who are kicking ass, and oftentimes I'll think, wow, that's really amazing. I love studying what successful people have done in order to model that. And the thing that I notice time and time again is that they have one focus. I mean, almost to a point where like they don't or can't really do much else. And not that I want to be that way, but it has its benefits. You know, people that are just incredible producers and all they do is produce. They do not have side hustles. They don't play in a million bands. They are just doing the one thing. So I encourage you to think about what that thing is for you. What is the thing that will bring your music career to the next level? What is it that you do best? And think, am I doing mostly that, only that? And if not, maybe time to rearrange your life. Yeah, just something to think about. The second part of the mantra is I must let go of expecting a final result. That one's a little sticky because if you're a part of my mailing list, the Forest Park DIY mailing list, I've sent emails that talk about setting goals in order to stay on a path and how important that is. With this part of the mantra, I must let go of expecting a final result. I want to make the distinction between expecting a final result and only being happy when you achieve that final result, and having goals. I feel like they're very different. And I think that if you base your happiness on achieving a certain lofty goal, you're kind of missing the boat, because you are going to it's going to feel like you're slogging it out until you make it. And I put air quotes around that. It's going to feel as if you are shoveling shit until you achieve that goal. So I like, in everything that I'm saying this for myself, because I feel like I need to talk these things out loud in order to adopt them for my own practices. So I don't want to sound like I'm preaching here. So again, this is for me as much as it might be for you listening. What I was going to say is that having a goal is great. Basing your happiness off of when you achieve that goal is not a good thing, because everything you do before is going to feel like you're slogging it out. And so what you can do is use that big goal as kind of a North Star, and you can work backwards. Instead of placing your emotions behind the huge goal, try placing your emotion behind smaller stepping stone goals. So if, I won't be happy until I'm touring arenas and, I have 10 million monthly listeners on Spotify, you can work back, and you work it back and work it back all the way to the point where it's like, okay, well, what's the next step in order to get me to that goal? Well, I think the next step is I need to book that coffee shop room in my town, and I need to fill it with people. And so you place your emotions behind that goal. Breaking it down that way, I feel like it helps you enjoy the process. And actually, that is a nice lead into the third part. I must enjoy the process. When you place your emotions behind these huge, huge goals, and you won't allow yourself to be happy until you achieve them, you're missing the potential for all the joy during the whole trip. Like a cross-country road trip, it's not about getting from New York to San Francisco. It's about the late night gas station stops with your buddies where you're laughing until you almost piss your pants because, I don't know, somebody puked in the back, or the hotel you're staying at is so nasty that you can't believe it. It's like, it's all the things in between that make the experience so rich. And if you don't allow yourself to enjoy the process, first off, you're missing out on so much joy. And secondly, it's not sustainable. You have to enjoy the process, because without the enjoyment, you just can't keep up the pace of doing the hard work that it takes to achieve that goal. If you work in fits and bursts where you're just like, you get so bothered by the fact that you're not where you want to be, that you hustle into it and you go and you go and you go, but you don't allow yourself to enjoy the process. You don't learn how to enjoy the process, or you don't choose to do the things that only you enjoy, then eventually that's going to burn you out and you won't continue until you reach that goal. Enjoying the process allows you to get small things done consistently, which I think is one of the keys to achieving goals. It's not about having fits of productivity. It's about showing up every day and doing small things to get you closer to your goals. That sustainability is key. Music is a long game, and you will never make it through that marathon unless you learn how to love the jog. All right, well, thanks for listening to this podcast and letting me talk about the things that I think I need to hear. I hope that they are beneficial for you too. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. And also, I've got a mailing list that I share tips and strategies like this. Basically, I'm just trying to turn what I've learned and experienced in the last 20 years of being a DIY musician into usable knowledge that helps other people avoid the mistakes that I've made and to feel a little less alone on the journey. So you can sign up for that by going to forestparkdiy.com/mailing list. All right. I hope you have a great week, great day, great month, great year, and that you are doing what you do best, doing what you love, letting go of expecting a final result, enjoying the process. Get out there, get heard. The world needs your voice. All right. Have a good one.